She thinks I'm a little lazy, I think she's a little crazy. We like summer and we like spring, watching wrestling in the ring. She ain't shy, she speaks her mind, tough as nails and smooth as wine. We burn hot as kerosene, baby, we got our own thing. She ain't skinny and I ain't tall, and that don't bother us at all. I run naked through the yard, she'd flash every police car, drinking wine and getting tired, and shooting out the damn street lights. How does she put up with me? Oh, baby, we got our own thing. We got our own thing. We don't need no rain. We ain't rich, but son of a, we're a hillbilly king and queen. Life don't seem so hard with you beneath the stars, 'cause we're growing four-leaf clovers in the yard.
There ain't nothing that he can't fix. He's a hard-headed son of a. We got married on the Georgian line. Watch out, ladies, this one is mine. He works hard and just don't quit, even if his pants don't fit. Lord, he'll be the death of me. Baby, we've got our own thing. We eat good like you ought to do. Mashed potatoes and gravy too. Picnic table out in the back. He's only had one heart attack. Pecan pie beneath the moon. Paper plates and plastic spoons. We're as close as two sardines. Baby, we got our own thing.
We got our own thing. We don't need no rain. We ain't rich, but son of a, we're a hillbilly king and queen. Life don't seem so hard with you beneath the stars, 'cause we're growing four-leaf clovers in the yard. Holding hands and touching minds,
Smoking grass and feeling fine.
we're as crazy as a cuckoo clock.
We're the weird ones on the block.
Stuffs some cash down in her bra.
I even like my mother-in-law.
She's my backwoods beauty queen.
Baby, we
Got our own thing. We got our own thing. We don't need no rain. We ain't rich, but son of a, we're a hillbilly king and queen. Life don't seem so hard with you beneath the stars, 'cause we're growing four-leaf clovers in the yard. Yeah, we're growing four-leaf clovers in the yard. I live down the road from Buddy's barroom. I got a running tab that's done run away. Sometimes I think I'm whistling past the graveyard. Last night I got so drunk I didn't even know my name, but the beer's cold and the music's always playing, and the jukebox is the best there is in town. Set you free at a happy hour, country songs and whiskey sours can cheer up any man who's feeling down. We say Jesus ain't an easy man to talk to. Heaven never sounded all that night, but you feel a little better singing, drinking songs together. A little 16 bars of paradise. Well, a bunch of boys come in right after midnight. They finished up late shift, so I hear. Nicky looks so tired it might fall over, but he heads straight for the jukebox and he orders him a beer. His home's a wreck, been bouncing checks, got bills that's piling high. They asked the good Lord for some help, he got no reply. And he said, Jesus ain't an easy man to talk to. And heaven never sounded all that nice. But I feel a little better singing, drinking songs together. A little 16 bars of paradise. Now you make some big mistakes over a lifetime, and heaven knows there ain't no perfect man. Sometimes it's just too late for forgiveness, but everybody here knows that you're doing the best you can. Well, life is tough, you done had enough, you ain't got no cash to spend. Come on down to Buddy's Bar, it's on the house, my friend. We say Jesus ain't an easy man to talk to. Heaven never sounded all that night, but to feel a little better singing, drinking songs together. A little 16 bars of paradise. Thinking places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go. You're a funny little critter and I love you so. And I wanna take a ride and we'll bear in your mind. I come and sit down with me in a rocking chair. The coffee pot is nice and hot. We can sit in our underwear. Tell me about the dreams you had last week, swimming all around with the fish in the sea. Come sit down with me in a rocking chair. For a couple of days or even just an afternoon. They'll be looking up and we'll be looking down. We can wave to the people in our hometown now. Come on, baby, let's fly up to the moon. Well, I wanna take a ride and we'll bear in your mind. Take me all around to the thinking places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go. You're a funny little critter and I love you so. And I'll take a ride and we'll bear in your mind. Yeah, I wanna take a ride and
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. My biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy. How often do you throw rocks at others? How often do you throw rocks at others? It's all part of getting to know thyself. I do understand that most people are never going to get to know themselves. They love the hell they're already in, and they're not going to make the change. I understand that. But it's a part of getting to know thyself. Know thyself. If you want to overcome, you got to know yourself. It's amazing what you discover. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about, whatever you might be doing, busy doing something, you can listen to the show no matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can listen to the show. You can podcast. Or you can listen on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. Amazing. And don't forget, you can follow us on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, and cozy.tv/JLP Talk. Cozy.tv/JLP Talk, and JLP Talk on Twitter. Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. What the? Cozy is not JLP Talk, but cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy, thanks. Cozy.tv/JLP. Thank God there's somebody out there paying attention. Thank you, Hake. Don't forget to donate and have your comments read out loud. Go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or cash.app at bondjlp. Cash.app at bondjlp. So it is Tuesday. It's Tuesday. And every Tuesday is Country and Western Tuesday.
And it is the saga of 13 separate colonies that united to form the most just and virtuous republic ever conceived. On this day, 243 years ago, our founding fathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to declare independence and defend our God-given rights.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
If you notice, July just feels white.
Yeah.
What the? Amazing. You put that together, Nick? You did? You did, or Nick?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, nice. Hassan, the audio engineer, one of the experts of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. Thank you. Oh, amazing. Happy Men History Month, by the way. Happy Men History Month. You know, you always hear liberals, both black and white liberals, and sometimes conservative, pretending that slavery was really bad and that because of slavery that the blacks were not able to make it and that nobody really did well and that the blacks are suffering today because of slavery, and that because of that, the blacks in 2023 need reparations and affirmative actions, and they still need a hand up because of generational finance, that the finance was taken away from the blacks and they didn't have a chance. And they never tell you the real truth about what's going on and encouraging the blacks to get up and do, because if ever there was a time to do what you want, you could be as rich or as poor or whatever as you want, now is the time. But they tell the blacks, oh, you still can't do it because of slavery, because of Jim Crow, and because of this and that. And then they show you all the made-up films that they put together, movies or whatever you call them, documentaries and movies, that they put together, and they pretend that this is how it was, and they made up this word called generational wealth, and it's all with the intent to deceive and control the blacks to get votes. That's all it's about. It's just for the votes. It's not that they love the blacks or care about the blacks at all, one iota. And they encourage the blacks to be angry so that when they need them to go out and destroy, have a riot, create a riot, go after white people, they'll just do it just like that. And they do it by telling the blacks, you can't make it. That old white man is white supremacy, and he's holding you back, even though it's not true at all. It's interesting, too, how the blacks have been convinced or made to be convinced that the white man is keeping them down. And the white people are starting to believe that the Jews are keeping them down. You become like what you hate, right? That the Jews are keeping them down, when in reality there's no such thing as keeping anyone down. Because in order to keep you down, you have to believe that there's someone better or over you. You have to believe that, like most blacks believe that white people are superior to them. It's a false belief. But in order to be controlled and kept in that darkness and weakness, you have to personally believe that yourself. But just imagine if you did not believe that white people were superior to you, there would be no competition. You just get up and live your life. You wouldn't think of anyone as superior or not superior to you. And they never, if at all, they rarely tell black people about other blacks who were born enslaved. And they still managed to do well in life, whatever well meant to them. Black people. And because most people know that blacks are not going to look for not all blacks, not all, but most are not going to look for the information themselves to find out what's really true. They just tell them and the blacks believe it. The blacks are doing this to the blacks. The black politicians are doing it. The black so-called school professors are doing it. The white liberal professors and others, they're doing that to the blacks. And the blacks are believing it. It is Men's History Month, and I want to give you a Men's History Month moment. There was once upon a time this black guy named George Washington Carver. And this is from thought.co. Enslaved from birth. This is the real deal. This is not some weak black people talking about somebody else. Our ancestors were enslaved. They have no idea. Zero. Why is that up right now? Enslaved from birth. This is thought.co. Enslaved from birth. George Washington Carver work reached beyond the black community. A scientist and inventor. A scientist and inventor enslaved from birth. How is it that this black man can be enslaved, the real deal, from birth, and wound up becoming a scientist and inventor? He wanted farmers to grow alternative crops, both as a source of their own food and as a source of other products to improve their quality of life. Watch this from biography.
Born into slavery in Missouri, George Washington Carver was orphaned as an infant and raised by Moses and Susan Carver, the family who had owned his mother. George left the Carver home to pursue an education on his own. He moved 75 miles away to Fort Scott, Kansas. He worked at menial jobs while trying to save enough money for school. In 1886, he settled on a farm in Ness County, Kansas. While there, he performed agricultural experiments that would later be valuable to him. George was able to save enough money for a semester at Simpson College in Iowa to study art. Out of 300 attending, he was the only black student, and he was welcomed. He was described as having a burning zeal to know everything. He transferred to Iowa State Agricultural College and graduated in 1894. In 1896, having received a master's, George was offered a position by respected educator Booker T. Washington. At Tuskegee, George decided on his purpose in life. He was going to help a former slave population become self-sufficient through farming.
Carver was a deeply practical man. He wanted to turn science into products that would benefit the black rural poor.
He encouraged them to rotate their crops to conserve the nutrients in the soil. In his Tuskegee lab, he developed over 300 uses for the peanut and 100 uses for the sweet potato.
Carver produced a series of scientific inventions. They benefited black and white farmers alike.
This prolific scientist was also a painter, a crocheter, and a musician. George Washington Carver died on January 5, 1943. His tombstone reads, "He could have added fortune to fame, but caring for neither, he found happiness and honor in being helpful to the world."
Amazing. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the type of black men I grew up around. They weren't whining and blaming and asking for free stuff and calling the white man white supremacy and waiting for a handout. That mentality came as a result of the so-called civil rights movement, which was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks. And they have only gotten worse. And the more you give, the more they want, and the less they do. It's like homeless people. The more you give homeless people food and shelter and needles and drugs, that's all they want. George Washington was born enslaved. And according to the report, he became a scientist and inventor. Why was he able to do it? He was black. And you got blacks today, not all, but most believe they can't do it. You got to lower the standards for them. They can't take the SAT test. They can't work at a job. What happened? And most blacks don't even know about George Washington Carver. It is Man History Month, so a Man History moment. Bible Porter is reporting that, is giving a quote from George Washington Carver. A quote from George Washington Carver. And here's a quote. And it's so deep. It is so deep. Fear of something is at the root of hate. Fear of something is at the root of hate for others. Fear of something is at the root of hate for others, and hate within will eventually destroy the hater. Fear and anger are the same. They are two peas in a pot. Amazing, huh? Hate said it's two peas in a pod, but where I came from, it's two peas in a pot. What? White people, two peas in a pod. I never knew that till right now. I always heard two peas in a pot. What's a pod?
That's what the peas live in.
Oh, that long green, the leaf thing that they live in?
Yeah, that's a pod.
What the? I think we call those pea shells when you're black.
They do, I guess, eventually end up in a pot.
I guess. So, if you notice, the blacks are angry and they have fear. Anyone that has fear has anger. It's two peas in a pod or a pot, wherever you want to put it. It's the same. That is deep. This is from Bible Porter. A quote from George Washington Carver, a black man who was born enslaved and became a scientist and inventor. And according to this report, he said, fear of something is at the root of hate for others. And hate within will eventually destroy the hater. Now do you believe that hate is evil? Anger is evil? And I've said over and over again, there is never, ever, 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 but never, ever, 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 ever a reason to be angry. And if anybody was going to be angry, you would think that it would have been George Washington Carver or Booker T. Washington or Clarence Thomas. They're not angry. And they're not calling the white man white supremacy. They're getting on with life because they understand the spiritual battle. Fear of something is at the root of hate for others. And hate will eventually destroy the hater. Amen to that. And this is from teachingourhistory.org. Carver never married, apparently too busy with the passion of his work to engage in any other serious courtships. Amazing. George Washington Carver. In other words, it sounds like that was quote unquote about Carver. And I'm saying, in other words, it sounds like he avoided hell like this. Watch this from Steve Harvey TV.
Where's Camille?
Hello, Steve. Okay. I wanted to talk about responsibility. I've been married for 3 years, and my husband and I keep having the same fight over and over. My husband and I both work hard during the week. I try to be a good wife. I mean, I do all the laundry, take care of the kids' homework, make sure we have a hot dinner on the table. But most weekends, there are few things that I need my husband to do around the house. When I ask my husband to do these few things, he gets upset and tells me that it's his time to relax and that I'm being demanding. I know my husband needs a break, but I don't think I'm asking too much. Any advice?
What might work well with him, because it's sometimes easier to train a man than it is to train a dog.
Yep.
You might want to say to him very clearly, all right, look, these are the 4 things I need done. So if you can get these 4 things done for me, Sunday, I will leave you alone completely. You can watch the game. I'll even make wings. Yeah. Incentivize it for him, whether it's with food, sex, praise, or some combination of the 3 all at once. Whatever it is, it's going to work. It's going to work.
Yeah.
What bad advice. What a weak man. Both of them agreeing to that. Horrible advice. Train a man, it's easier to train a man than it is a dog. There's no wonder in the world. That's not a George Washington Carver advice, that's for sure. It's no wonder the world going to hell in a handbasket. And they call that guy an expert. And Steve Harvey's in there, yeah. And if this woman is married with children, she shouldn't be working anyway. She should not be working. She should be home raising the man's children. Homeschooling, cleaning, feeding, taking care of his children. Why is she out working? And that you couldn't have gotten any worse advice than that from that guy, whoever he was. What a mess. You must come back to the order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. It works when you're in that order. And stop blaming and begging. Stop being a victim. It's only in your mind. It's not even real. George Washington Carver was born enslaved. It's not like he heard about it 150 years later. He was born into it. And when I was growing up, men worked hard. They did what they needed to do. They did not complain. They didn't blame. Oh, did you hear? I saw a report this morning that there are a lot of near-miss airplane crashes, incidents or whatever, and you're not hearing about them anymore. They don't mention them because so many are happening. They don't mention them. And so I wonder, it was just a wonder, it's because they're not hiring white people anymore for the most part. It's because they're putting people in that is based on color or gender. It's not, they're not qualified for it. Remember the air traffic controller people was being hired because they were black? We were reporting on that a while back now. I want my country back, but unfortunately, because of putting all the wrong people in the right places, it's not going to happen. No more George Washington Carvers. They're not telling you about the near-miss plane incidents. Isn't that amazing? Because they know that you would know is because they have unqualified people running it. Can you imagine air traffic controllers and people who are flying the planes are there because of color or gender? Not because they're just putting your life at risk. Remember the guy from Hawaii? According to the report, water is about equity. So they didn't put the fire out. I guess equity means that the fire was burning in the wrong place with the wrong people. And so they didn't put the fire out. One of the reasons they say. I want my country back. But let's say the country is not coming back, but you can live free as an individual and yet deal with the world in the right way. Amazing, huh? We need more George Washington Carvers. And what this says out loud to me is that George Washington Carver and other men like him may have been physically enslaved, but mentally they were not. They were not. But today, most people, especially the blacks, are mentally enslaved. Isn't that amazing? George Washington Carver Men's History Month. Right on. Let me take a quick break. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. Amazing. Amazing. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Lord, I was born again, traveling man. Welcome back, 888-7753-773. Busy day today. After my show at 9 a.m. this morning, Pacific time, the Hake, Hake report.com. From 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. Amazing, huh? And at 11, Joel L. Friday TV. Joel L. Friday TV. Joel L. Friday TV at 11 a.m. after the Hake report. He black. And then at 12 Pacific time, the American Anchor Baby Show. The American Anchor Baby Show. Isn't that amazing? And in the next hour, we have a major announcement to make for you in the second hour today. Amazing. So a busy day today. The Hate Report, the Joy Friday, and the Anchor Baby, the American Anchor Baby. Super Chat. Super
Chats.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
All is well. How are you?
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
You have on your what the? You have on your country western shirt. Is that what that is?
Oh yeah, nice little hunting.
Oh yeah,
hunting and gathering shirt.
Look like you should be riding a horse.
Exactly.
And when you ride the horse in your Jesus bees?
No, I think that's when you take them off.
Oh,
you take them off for battle and hunting.
Oh, Jesus beads. Now I know what you're talking about.
That thing around his neck.
His necklace, yeah.
Yeah. What the?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Henry.
Super Chats.
Henry Ford Lives gave a diamond yesterday. What's wrong with the blacks? They need help, Jesse.
Amazing. Thank you. You're right about that.
Yeah.
It's real bad. And now I hear bad stories nearly every day, complaining.
Terrible.
What a mess.
Lily Poo.
Thank you.
Lily Poo on
Rumble.
Every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess. And that's the end of her super chat.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
That Jesus Christ is Lord. Something like that.
That what she said?
No, but that's the rest of the verse. It's from the Bible.
How you know she was referring to that though?
I assume.
You assume?
Whoa.
What? What?
You can't say that.
What?
Never mind.
How do you spell assume?
ASSUME.
What do you mean I can't say it?
Moving on. Lily Poo.
Thank you.
With another Rumble rant. Watch your kids! 4 exclamation points.
That's right.
Yeah.
Father and mother, watch your children. They're not our children, they are your children. Because when you give the impression that they are our children, then the parents stop taking care of their own children. What? Amazing. Thank you.
I have a couple of different coffees in answer to the biblical question.
Buymeacoffee.com/JLP talk.
And the biblical question.
Oh, how often do you throw rocks at others?
JV the Great says, I never throw rocks at others, only at Joe Biden and his corrupt administration.
So he threw rocks at others then. What?
You contradicted yourself, JV the Great.
Sure did, JV the Great. I never throw a rock, only at. So you throw rocks.
Maybe you need to buy yourself a coffee.
.com.
Wake up.
/JLP talk. Thank you.
No Mo Thoughts answers the biblical question with,
how often do you throw rocks at others?
I throw rocks at others pretty much every time I think about them. Sometimes I catch it and see that I am judging and I shouldn't. Sometimes I catch it by seeing that their behavior or ideas have nothing to do with me. It's pretty exhausting to go through all of my memories and my whole life up to this point and see every thought was a lie. But at least I can forget them for good by seeing.
Amazing. Thank you. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday.
Chill and Lean bought a coffee. Jesse, people tend to associate things like slut making, quickly getting angry, talking way too much, retaliation, etc. with quote-unquote toxic masculinity. But, by this definition, is toxic masculinity beta? Slut making, quickly getting angry, talking way too much, retaliation.
I don't understand the question.
People, the people who use the term toxic masculinity,
right?
Oftentimes they're referring to that to men who talk too much. They quickly get angry. They slut make, and they retaliate.
But there's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
Right, but if
it's just made up.
Right.
So no, it doesn't exist. It's made up by people who hate men, who hate the image of God. Thank you. Amazing.
Soul Conscious bought 5 coffees. Jesse, I realized just how amazing life is when you are alone and need nothing. God is irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you.
Alpha and Omega bought a coffee. Happy Men's History Month to Donald Trump, JLP, and crew.
Thank you. Happy Men's History Month to you. Thank you. The Great White Hope.
Alpha and Omega bought another coffee. Shout out to Lynn for her testimony yesterday. I wish her well.
Shout out to Lynn. I do too. It was an amazing call.
Mike Young bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse, check this out. As I was looking at pitiful Breakfast Club idiots as they interview Larry Elder, don't you find it interesting on how most black people continue to... I can't say this word. B word. ITCH. Jesse says it, but I don't say it. Okay, I can't say it.
What?
The B word.
Bible?
No, BITCH. You know what that spells?
What?
Don't say that, kids.
What?
BITCH.
Oh. Bedbug Bible stories.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
No, I didn't finish the super chat.
Oh.
Don't you find it interesting on how most black people continue to B-word, itch, and complain about the so-called system, and for so many years...
Hake is too holy for that word.
That word is too manly for me.
Evidently. Talk about toxic masculinity.
Oh, man. Making me blush.
Evidently.
And complain about the so-called system, and for many years they vote for the system, which is black and white liberals who have completely destroyed the black family. But you can't tell the truth to the 3 stooges on the Breakfast Club because they are angry and blind and can't see. What a mess.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike Young. Pardon the interruptions.
You like your new setup?
I like it.
The Hassan?
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like... Jesse doesn't look like a...
He looks like
a Mexican.
Yeah, like a Mexican cowboy. Didn't Clint Eastwood in one of those Western movies wear a poncho?
Where is Clint Eastwood now?
He's in heaven.
He is?
Oh, he's still living.
No, can't you be in heaven on earth?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what you mean?
Yeah, he's like 93.
He's not dead.
We went over this just last week, I feel like.
Oh.
Now it's a repeat
I never
joke.
wore that thing in Alabama.
You never wore a poncho?
No.
How about chaps?
Who?
Those shin guards that you have there on your doll, on your action figure.
What?
Oh, you can't see them there.
I don't see him anywhere.
You just look at the action figure himself. Pick him up.
Right here?
No, the things on the front. Yeah. Did you wear spurs?
Yeah.
Wow.
No way.
Did you wear this? Did you wear the leather
Make the
front?
horse go faster.
Did you wear the leather shields that are in the front of his lower legs?
No.
Oh, you didn't wear that? It's cool though.
What's that for?
I don't know. Maybe wind or I don't know.
What's that for, Hassan?
I don't know. Just for full disclosure, I don't fully approve all the wardrobe Daniel from the meetings have contributed.
Why you put it all on there?
Well, he contributed, so I think that sometimes it's fun to mix it up. But just for full, clarification, I don't approve all of the wardrobe.
But you've been showing the poncho for weeks, so you don't have to keep the poncho on. It could be rolled up like it's a blanket.
Well, I like how Nick set it up last week, kind of in this like movie scene setup. So like Desperado.
Lift up the thing so that the people can see the spurs. That's the one drawback, because right now all you're showing is the waist up, so you're only showing the poncho.
Oh, I can't because he's holding his horse.
Oh, okay.
We'll switch it around in a few.
There's his spurs. He does have jeans on.
Come on, man.
Nice. Okay. One more super chat, I think.
I'm concerned he may fall now. See?
Yeah. Yeah, those
stressing him out.
Those chaps protect your legs somehow.
It's just another way of making money.
Truck driver bought a coffee. Hi, Jesse, and greetings to the
Thank
crew.
you, by the way.
Yeah. Hi, Jesse, and greetings to the crew, says truck driver with a coffee. Did you see Russia is trying to put missiles in Nicaragua?
No, I didn't see that.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Who knew?
Thank you. I had no idea.
Michelle with 1L bought 3 coffees. I found your show a few weeks ago. You make me smile. Let's pray for our enemies. God loves us all. And then pink flower emoji.
You made me smile, if only for a while. Thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Happy Men's History Month. Let's celebrate men like Dr. Ben Carson and Thomas Sowell. Real alpha men.
That's right. Well, I don't know if Carson, a real alpha man, but he apparently was a good doctor.
Yeah.
He might be alpha, I don't know. But thank you.
He's Big Bump's dad.
He speaks softly.
And carries a big
And
stick.
then he be batting his eyes.
Yep.
Like he's scared. I was just so scared. Where is him? Is that guy? And I never hear about him.
I think he's on Twitter and stuff. He visited with Alaska youth amid a controversy poor 11 hours ago.
Nice. But thank you.
At the governor's request.
Right on.
Last coffee, I think. Mr. Pink bought a coffee. I got an axe. Ask. What are your thoughts on prophecy? I think most Christians overthink them and sometimes get too literal of ideas from them. For example, I believe the Antichrist is an evil controlling spirit that overtakes humanity again and again in different forms. Again and again in different forms. Not some actual person that will try to rule the entire world. More like a spirit that keeps trying to take over the soul of humanity. Thoughts?
I believe that the Antichrist is the spirit of evil, Satan, of course, and then the people who teach about God, the intellectual who are teaching about God, because if you notice, those who teach about God keep people away from God. So, thank you, but that's what I think.
And one last coffee. Well, someone bought 5 coffees with no message. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's all for now.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. Amazing. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
All thoughts are all lies all the time. All thoughts are all lies all the time. You can get that at rebuildingtheman.com/stores.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Nice shirt, too.
Yeah.
Nice color. Easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to get me that color.
Yeah, you should. I could see it looking good.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Hake. Let me go to Nangiti out of the Netherlands. Nangiti, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
I have a question, sir. What is a friend?
No such thing. It's just a word that, and then we've been taught, and then we put all these definitions around that word, and it gives a false idea about what to expect and how we should act and that kind of a thing.
Because I hear you sometimes referring to that you have friends.
Right.
So I was thinking, because I find it very difficult at the moment, especially as you said, you will encounter this loneliness feeling, and oh my God, after your Sunday service of past Sunday, that was some really deep stuff. I could feel that this idea of, you're being there already and everything is just amazing and it's going to be fluent and it's easy. It was shook to my core. I was like, wow, this is, you got to stay present. And yeah. So now I'm, of course, in my circle, as I'm more in a observing role, in an observing state of mind, all these ideas that I had about, your friends and also your family, it's just, I'm like, if you give in a little bit too much, it always feels like they're trying to indoctrinate you.
Yes, absolutely.
So therefore I was just like, how can I know how to stand in this without feeling so lonely and feeling like, like...
And you say you feel lonely. Who is it that's feeling lonely? Who is the you that's feeling lonely?
Yeah, the scared little girl who experienced feeling abandoned at some point.
Hopefully you've heard me say there is no you that's feeling lonely. That's the same idea that you have when you say friend. You believe that there's a you that's feeling lonely, but you don't feel anything. It's the fake identity that you have that's lonely. It's the spirit of evil. It's not you. Those are the things that must die. All ideas, the idea of friend, the idea of family, the ideas of this or that must die. And that's what's dying when you allow that to happen. And then when all ideas and plans die, you're going to deal with people in an amazing, perfectly way, because inwardly you will have no ideas going on, and having no ideas, you have no requirements from the people. You're not looking to them to give you, to make you feel good, make you sad, make you happy, make you scared, make you this. You're not looking for anyone to fulfill a void, because you will be completed. So that lonely feeling that you have, stop identifying with it. It's the death of the ego. It's not you.
Wow.
It's just that it tried to convince you that it's you, and all your life you've been thinking that those emotions were you, and they never were, they never will be, they ain't gonna be. It's not you. That's the darkness that must depart from your body. It's just an idea. It's not real.
Wow. Nice.
And you feel it in your body, but it's in the body. It's not in you. And if you don't hold on to it, just relax and just go about your day knowing that the feeling is there, and don't use thoughts or people or places to cover it up. You're going to be fine. It's not you. It's not real. And most people don't go past this. They go and they forgive mama. They go and forgive daddy, and that's where they stop. And intellectually, they stay there, and I forgave. But yet, their ego is alive and well. They have not, Christ said we have once to die. They have not died from the ego. And that's what's happening. You have to let that happen. Relax, and don't resent it. Don't complain about it. Meaning, don't like, oh, poor me. I don't want to go through this. This is hard.
Right.
It's not you. It's the death of the ego, which is the spirit of the devil.
Wow. Sir, that's very good. it's almost like, I mean, I'm a woman. I have never been to a battlefield, but it's almost like when a sergeant is like training its soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that. That's how I feel in this process, and yeah, your guidance is so. I'm really happy with it. It's nice to be able to call in or seek counseling, or because it's so easy to, what you say, like to give up and trying to hold on still to, your group of friends or that life that you used to have with the same people.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's the same people that are the harshest. They're coming after me, like I really,
absolutely,
they're really, and I have to, I feel just by doing it the way I'm doing it, I feel like I'm doing it, I'm enduring it.
Yes. But don't get angry, just relax and let it die. And It's a battlefield. It's a war between good and evil. All right? Back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Persecution of the president ongoing. He's going to get arrested. He's going to go in and check into the jail, I guess, or something like that. Our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. And storms have blown through. I think it's over. It was sunshiny just yesterday, late morning or afternoon. Crazy. Nice. That hurricane, I guess the levees can still break. Are there levees on the West Coast? I don't know. And there's an RSV scare, big money going to Ukraine or coming out of Ukraine, not sure. This is the end of hour one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour two. JLP will be right back for Country and Western Tuesday, hour two. But first, Hake News, not fake news. By the way, there is one line open. You can call in. 1-888-775-3773. If you're listening live, 888-77-JESSE. Based persecuted president. Call Me Nonsense Network CNN reports former president, our greatest, Donald J. Trump, plans to turn himself in if he hasn't already. Maybe he has, I don't know. At the Fulton County Jail on Thursday. Oh, yeah, that's Thursday. Today's Tuesday. Following his agreement Monday to a $200,000 bond and other release conditions. I'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday to be arrested, all caps. Trump wrote in a post on his social media platform, truthsocial.com/@RealDonaldTrump. Trump, according to an unsealed indictment last week, our greatest president is accused of being the head of a criminal enterprise that was part of a broad conspiracy to overturn his 2020 election defeat. Trump and 18 co-defendants, 18, have until noon Eastern Time Friday to surrender voluntarily to Georgia authorities after being criminally charged. Meanwhile, our greatest president is accelerating his 2024 presidential campaign despite 4 indictments. He has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and continues to slam the cases as politically motivated. Nice. And Call Me Nonsense Network CNN reports crews in parts of the western United States and Mexico are cleaning up in the aftermath of Hurricane Hillary with one L, which transformed streets into rivers and forced widespread evacuations last week. after hitting Southern California on Sunday as a tropical storm, the state's first since 1997. Was that El Nino? I think it might have been El Nino. Hillary headed into Nevada as its first ever recorded tropical storm. As Hillary and its remnants moved up the western United States, the storm broke into several rainfall records. Notably, Hillary dumped a year's worth of rain on Palm Springs, California. Man, that was flooded out crazy. I saw some footage on Twitter. And became the rainiest tropical system in Idaho, Oregon, and Montana history. Wow. Now meteorologists, which is to say weathermen and female weathermen, are drawing attention to Tropical Storm Harold. They're calling it a man's name. It's supposed to be a woman's name, right? Heading towards South Texas, threatening floods and dangerous storm surge. Storm surge, I guess, is when the waters rise, I guess. The region is expecting around 3 to 5 inches of rain and up to 7 inches in some areas. Wow. RSV. You want to hear about this? The FDA on Monday approved the first vaccine that protects newborns from respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV. The vaccine, made by Pfizer, is given to mothers late in their pregnancies and provides protection to infants through their first 6 months of life. After decades of study and failed attempts at developing RSV vaccines to combat the common illness, there are now several offerings to protect against the virus, including a recently approved antibody shot that can be given to all infants after birth and new vaccines for people 60 and older. The virus typically hits hardest during the winter months. The last RSV season was longer and more severe than usual, overwhelming children's hospitals because they're full of women who are easily overwhelmed, I say. I could be wrong. I'll have to tell you about the big money to Ukraine in the next hour because we're coming to an end. Job seekers are wanting record high wages. Men expect $25,000 more than women do per studies. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP.
To stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. The biblical question, my biblical question for this week. It's a doozy. How often do you throw rocks at others? How often do you throw rocks at others? Amazing question. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And you can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad anywhere in the whole world. We are heard around the world. And if you're a flat earther, up and down the world, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time, right? So if you're busy, whatever you might be doing, working out, whatever, laying up at a beach anywhere in the world, making breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And you can podcast the show, of course, but while you're active, you can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on cozy.tv/JLP. 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 And rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Rumble. You got to know how to rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Like, follow, ring the bell, and all that good stuff. It's Tuesday. Every Tuesday is Country and Western Tuesday. When I was a little bitty baby, my mama used to rub me in her cradle in that old cotton field back home. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texas County. In that old cotton field back home. Amazing! Country and Western Tuesday. Country and Western Tuesday. That reminded me when Jesse was an American cowboy. Simple American. Now Mexican cowboy. What the? Amazing. Build the wall. You know, oh, the wall going up. The wall going up. I want to just take a moment before I get to your calls and headlines here and Super Chats to say thank you all for helping us, to help others. And I know a lot of you have been helped around the world. I hear from you all the time. And some of you are on that straight and narrow path, and you stand on it. Some have gotten off. Some have overreacted and gotten off the path because they thought that they were being affected and not the ego. They identify with the ego, so they gotten off the path. Some have gotten off, but returned to the path. And we have an entrepreneur academy where we are showing men how to start businesses or helping them that already started, whatever. We have a credit union where we loan them money and they put it back, to help get the little business going, and put it back. And they pay it back so we can keep it going. We are building a network of a radio network of 24-hour talk of all men, 24 hours. And it doesn't have to be all conservative, but we're building this network. We counsel. We have men and women forums on Thursdays. First Thursday of the month for men only, third Thursday of the month for ladies only. And we put out a newsletter, Sunday morning meeting, just all kinds of things. And you have made it possible. And some of you've gotten help and you forgot to give. And because I don't remind you a lot, you don't do it. But when I remind you, you do it. Thank you. And we have reached, thanks to you, and the amazing staff here, in spite of us being shadow banned for so long, we've been like shadow banned, but I understand it. I know that when people get mad at you, the first thing they want to do is take something away from you. So we've been shadow banned. It's the way of life. The battle is good versus evil. But thanks to you, we have reached 400,000 subscribers on YouTube for the JesseLeePeterson.com show. And thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it. And
Amazing!
It's amazing. And if you want to be a part of the entrepreneur program, we need a one-pager. Your business idea or what you got going on and why you think you should be a part of the academy. And if you're interested in being a part of the 24-hour radio network, we need to hear from you too. One pager why you want to be a part of the network. We're going to, one day at a time, with your support. And again, I am grateful. The staff is grateful. Bond, rebuildingtheman.com for 33 years now, I believe, 33, 34 years, are grateful. Thank you. We don't take them for granted. And I mean, the producers who put all this together, Sean and Nick and Hake and Hassan and Daniel and Billy and Doug, everybody, thank you. Amazing. Here are some of the highlights from our history on YouTube. This is from Jesse Lee Peterson. Watch this.
That's a dumb question to ask. You're asking that question so you can use it on your program to make him look like a racist. Why don't you ask me, am I racist? Because I'm black, right?
Yes.
You're in America taking advantage of all the benefits that America has to offer, and your only comment, are you a racist? That doesn't make any sense.
That black Americans, not all but most, don't see that by them acting this way over and over and over and over and over again. And the more the media cover the stories and Obama create the environment, they're getting worse. It's so apparent, Mike, that it's hard for me to believe that no one can see it. But I realize they don't. You see it, right, Jay?
AP says, Jesse, when did Aunt Esther join the Arkansas Senate? Also, legend has it.
Arkansas, not Kansas. This is not about racism. This is coming out of the single parent homes. Black people were a noble people. They worked hard. They got married. They set good example. They bought land. And they didn't blame anyone for anything. They were able to overcome. I appreciate your call. You're refusing to discuss the truth. Beta!
Hang yourself, nigga.
Beta! See how violent he is? Yeah, he black.
Go drop dead.
All right. Thank you, Lenore.
You obviously have some mental health issues.
Your mother was held to pay, and you become just like her. Hey, come in. And you mad at me because I won't go along with it. I ain't going along with that crap. I was trained differently. I had better examples than that in my life. Ain't no way in the hell I'm going down that road. I'm living in the greatest country in the world. Amazing. So once again, thanks to all of you, thanks to the staff and everybody, and thanks for your financial support to make all this happen. It's amazing. Amazing. Let me go to, let me do this real fast since I'm thanking y'all. And we're building this radio network. Starting tomorrow, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, tomorrow at 11 a.m., we'll start bringing on another amazing talk show guy, better known as my audio engineer, a rapper, songwriter, actor, and one of the experts on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Hassan.
What the?
Hassan tomorrow, his dog. So
Amazing.
Amazing. Congratulations, man.
Man, thank you, sir.
So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, Hassan will start his new show. Thanks to y'all. All right? And so eventually we're going to have to get another audio engineer to replace him. But we're working toward that. Hassan, tomorrow morning, put it on your little computer calendar, your little bell that reminds you, whatever they do on the computers. Hassan New Show tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We're building this network one brick at a time. Amazing, huh? Amazing. Are you nervous?
No, sir.
Are you scared?
No, grateful. Thank you for the opportunity.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is.
It's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
You and your dog. You have a name for it yet?
Wow Hassan Walking on Water.
That's the name of your show?
That's the name of the show.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. WW.
Yeah.
Hassan Walking on Water. Oh, I like that.
Wow.
What the? Wow, Hassan Walking on Water. Amazing. At 11 a.m., starting tomorrow, Wednesday. And like with all the hosts, we start about one day a week and work their way up. Amazing. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let me go to Tony out of California. Tony, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse. How are you today?
All is well, sir.
Yeah, I understand you was giving that history of George Washington Carver.
The Men History Moment. If y'all missed that, it was in the first hour. We did a Men History Moment with George Washington Carver. He was enslaved, and he went on to become a scientist and inventor. He black. Oh, he was black.
Well, there's a few details that you left out. That when he left his family, he went to stay with this.
Speak up a
European
minute.
family.
Speak up a little bit, Tony.
I say a few details that you left out. That when he left his family, he went to stay with this European family, and they had him castrated because they had a daughter. And they didn't want him to get their daughter pregnant.
And he was castrated?
Yes, that's an evil deed.
Well, thanks for telling us about that.
From him. Excuse me?
Thanks for telling us about that. And he still didn't whine. He didn't beg. He didn't blame. He went on and had an amazing life. He didn't let anything get in the way. That's a good point, Tony, because the average black today is they can't handle anything, and they do nothing. So hold on one minute. So Tony, thanks for adding that and proving that, helping me to explain to the people that in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, they didn't complain. The blacks didn't complain. Amazing. Thank you.
Well, the thing is, Jess, you couldn't complain because you would get hung or got slaughtered or murdered.
How you know?
So you had to stay humble.
How you know?
Because, Jesse, like I was born yesterday or something.
It was not hung, but it was hanged.
I was born in the 60s, man. And,
Tony, how do you know what you were saying? This is way back then.
Well, of course.
So how do you know that you couldn't complain?
You're a black man. You can't complain.
Tony, how do you know you couldn't complain?
Because they would lynch you, Jesse.
How do you know that you're not answering the question? How do you know that?
Because I grew up in that era. That's why.
And plus, you grew up during George Washington Carver era.
Not George Washington Carver era, but right after him in the 60s.
So you were born during George Washington Carver era?
Once again, Jesse, I was born in the 60s, okay? And during that time, even in those days,
did you ever complain? Did you ever complain in the 60s?
Yes, I did. Yeah, of course I did.
But why would you complain? Normally, men don't complain; they overcome.
What you mean,
why did you become a complainer?
Jesse, you complain at your show.
No. I'm asking you, why did you become a complainer?
Because that's part of life, Jesse.
Part of life is to complain?
Of course it is.
Amazing. And this
If you got a disagreement, if you have a disagreement,
this thing about George Washington being castrated, I really do like the fact you added that in there because
well, I have to because
it shows that black men, it shows that black men did not complain even in the even in the difficult times, and it's not. You have no proof. There's no proof that he was castrated. It was just something that was said. But even if he was, it's an amazing addition to the story. Thank you for that.
Well, the thing is, he took his manhood from him. He couldn't even have a family. And how do you don't know if that's true or not. Yes, I do know.
No, you don't. Did you see his balls?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Really, Justin?
You
not balls, but on your own show.
Go Nats. I'm sorry. You're right. Go Nats. Did you see him?
I'm not going
you brought it up. And
I'm not going to respond to that, bro.
And you have no proof to it at all.
Oh, it's
but
proof.
It's an amazing addition because it shows.
That shows how evil white folks was back during that time.
I'll put it on a whole. It shows the strength of blacks even during slavery. If that was true that he was castrated, and it shows that men back in those days had so much dignity, they didn't complain. And he didn't let any obstacles get in his way. I don't know if that's true or not, but that he was castrated. If it did, it just makes the story even more amazing. Unlike the blacks today. And Tony, you said you complain. You like complaining?
I didn't say I like complaining. I said it's part of life.
I know you said you do complain and you did back when you were younger.
Okay, but you want to add more to the story.
Do you like complaining?
No, I don't. Just
but why do you complain?
But
then?
the thing is, just
but why do you complain then?
Why?
No, why?
To get my point across, to make things right. That's why.
How does complaining make things right?
By working towards making it right. If things ain't going the way you want to go, you got to put your objective in there to make it right.
Did your father and mother taught you? Did they teach you to complain?
It's part of life, Jesse.
No. Did they teach you to complain?
They taught me. They taught me everything I knew.
Did they teach you to complain?
No, they didn't teach me that.
Who taught you to complain and made you think
that? And
made you think that it was part of life?
God taught me to complain.
God taught you to complain?
Yes.
So you lying on God?
No, I'm not lying on God.
Are you a Christian?
It's part of life.
Are you a Christian? Are you a Christian?
What is that?
Are you a Christian?
I don't know what that is, Justice. No.
All right. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate talking to you, man. It was a nice addition that if he was castrated, George Washington Carver, he didn't complain about it. He went on and had a life. And black people, you can do the same. And complaining is not part of life. It's a weakness. And normally men don't complain. George Washington had dignity. He did not complain. He went on and was hired by another black man at the Tuskegee University. He found Washington founded that school. Thank you, Tony. Let me go all the way out to the United. There's a line open at 888-7753-773. Let me talk to go out to the United Kingdom and talk to a first-time caller, Adish. I hope I'm saying it right. Adish.
Yes, you're saying it right. Am I online?
You're on the air, yes.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you so much for the guidance. I really wanted to thank you for taking me near to the truth and making me realize, sometimes intellect can be dangerous. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, man. Are you over your anger yet?
Yes, I've never been very angry person. My father was really angry.
Yes.
So since I was a child, I knew that being angry is not good for you because I had a stellar example of the failure of anger.
Yes.
But I've started to do silent prayer. I started going to the church here in the UK, but it's an evangelical church. So they pray and they sing, which is a bit. I don't think it's my cup of tea. But I still go there because it's nice people. We study Bible there. So.
Yes, but now you can read the Bible with real insight about it, and you're going to really see deeply what it is talking about, rather than allowing the preacher or the devil in the mind to interpret it for you. You see the wisdom of it.
That's true. But about that, I had a question about what you say about how we should doubt every thought.
Yes.
I'm still not. I think I agree with everything that you say, but I don't think I've understood this completely. How we should doubt every thought, because even doubting a thought is also a thought. So
that's a good point. When I say doubt it, I mean just to observe it. Watch the thoughts coming and going like you're watching a movie, and have no opinion about it. Don't call it good. Don't call it evil. Don't have a conversation with it. Just watch it. And that's what I mean about doubting it.
I see. So you don't mean that, because I see that there's something that's said on the channel all the time that I hear, that only the practical thoughts are useful. Rest of the thoughts, we should just let them go. Yes,
absolutely.
So how do we even know the boundary between what are practical thoughts and what are the rest of the thoughts?
You know, when you get a job, right?
Yeah.
You know you got to go to work, and you got to be there at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Those are practical thoughts. You get up, you get ready, you go to work, you do your work, and once you get off, you're done with work for the day, and you don't have to think about it anymore because it's just a tool that you're using to live on this earth. But you don't live by it. When you're building a house, when you hammer in the last nail, you put the hammer down because you don't need it anymore, right?
Okay. So use thoughts just as a tool, not and try to keep them away as far as possible.
100%. Use it as a tool, but don't live by them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, so how do we, if that's, because previous to listening to you, I used to subscribe to the thought that says your rationality is your best tool for morality. So to find out what's right and wrong, your thoughts are your only guide. From what you hear, it's completely different. So if that's the case, if the thoughts are just to be taken as a tool, where do we get our sense of right and wrong from?
Amazing question. What's going to happen because you're never going to find morality, and you're never going to have a rational thought. Morality is not in thoughts. That's a false idea about morality. But when you don't listen to thoughts, then the light, the nature of God is guiding you, and in His wisdom, you would know what real morality is without having to think about it. The Spirit of God will teach you.
I see. I don't think I'm maybe because I've just started listening to you and I've just started doing silent prayer. Maybe I still need some time to really see the light.
100%. Absolutely. You got a little bit of it now because you're seeing what's going on somewhat. But if you stay with it, there are so many things that are happening inside of you and outside of you, inside of others. When we've been taught wrong, there are layers and layers of wrong ideas that you have, and they will be revealed to you and disappear.
That is actually true. One incident happened to me recently that I realized that how my intellect is kind of misguiding me. That's one of the eye-opening things that I got from this kind of thinking, was that I realized that I was just using... I broke up with my girlfriend, and I realized I just broke up was just an excuse. I already knew I was going to break up with her because I already knew that I was never going to... I never saw anything serious with her, and I broke up with her. And later, when all that happened, I thought I was doing silent prayer. I was trying to just meditate, and I realized that I knew it all along, and I still just used her just like for sex or something, and I felt really sad. So I confessed her, and I said, "Hope you forgive me, but I think it's my intellect that's doing all these things."
100%. The intellect is your enemy. You cannot live by the intellect. You will have nothing but misery. It brings on emotions, false emotions. It gives you a false idea about yourself and others. The intellect is your enemy. Look at the world right now. The world is in a mess. It is being controlled by intellectuals, people with degrees and big names like mayor and senator and professor and counselor. And all they're doing is destroying the world. They're intellectual, but Satan is their daddy. They're living in darkness. You must let the intellect go and live by understanding, live by wisdom, which only comes from God.
I understand. But there is still, I go back to the same question that I had before. It's still, in practicality, we also have to kind of, like you said, the morality comes from the spirit, the light.
Yes.
I understand that. But we still need some practical guides of morality. For instance, if you want to write down the Constitution, or if you want to write down the rules of a certain state, you would still need to write down what's right and wrong, what's permissible, what's a crime,
But
what's not a crime.
and I understand what you mean. Can you hold for a minute?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me take a quick break. 888-775-3773. Back in a moment. Your super chats and everything when I come back. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature.
Beta, lesbians, JLP all day, country music Tuesday. Call him up, betas, and you'll be fine. Gonna go to have a good time, 'cause every Tuesday it's country music with JLP. Every Tuesday that's country music on JLP.
All right, welcome back. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. JESSE. For personalized shout-outs, birthdays, weddings, shout outs, encouragements, congratulations, whatever the occasion is, go to cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. All right, and just a quick reminder because you want to know, how can I do super chats? YouTube don't accept them. Go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. And cash.app at Bond JLP. Cash.app at Bond JLP. We did Men's History Month, Happy Men's History Month, on George Washington Carver, and how he didn't complain. He was born a slave. He ended up becoming a scientist and inventor, and that he's a good example of there's nothing in life that you can't do or overcome, and your environment has nothing to do with it. And he's a good example for the blacks, to stop begging for reparation and blaming. And Tony called from California, and he added that George Washington Carver, no one really knows if it's true or not, but they say he was castrated. And even that did not get in his way. He went on and had an amazing life. And one of his quotes from Bible Porter is that fear of something is at the root of hate for others. Fear of something is at the root of hate for others. And hate within will eventually destroy the hater. That is so deep I can hardly stand it. I remember growing up, they taught us not to hate. They say it's spiritual. Forgive. Pray for your enemy. Don't hate your enemy. And now hatred, anger is being pushed like nothing going north. And everybody that has anger has fear. What a mess, huh? I want to go back to Adish, our first time call out in the UK, and he was talking about the thoughts and morality and all that. Adish.
Hi.
And you were saying in order to write the Constitution or write about morality, you need to do what?
You still need to have, like, what you mentioned was morality is given by the light, by the God.
Yeah.
You still would need to write it down for everyone else. So does the light or the Spirit of God gives us all the same morality? What if your interpretation of something is different than mine, and we both follow the Spirit, the light, and we might disagree on something?
But
you see how it would not lead to objective morality?
But when the intellect, if they're written about morality and God, and if you notice, the intellectual have been writing about it forever and a day, and yet it's not working. It's not working because it's coming from the intellect, and the intellect is of their father, the devil, and the devil twists morality because he tried to play God, and he want his attention, he want your attention to be on him and to believe that the intellect is of the true God, and it's not. But people have always been writing about morality, and their form and ideas of morality is not working and never will work because it's not real, it's not true.
Fair enough. But would you?
And so if everyone would return to the Father and live by the Spirit of the light, walk in the light, their morality wouldn't even be thought of. It would be no issue. There would be no disagreement. It would be no issue at all because you would be of the light.
I see. I take your word on it, and I'm sure maybe the more time I spend, the more clearer it would be for me.
That's right. Stay with the prayer and watch. Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes, I have been. Yes.
Yeah, stay with it and watch. And when you see things, don't you personally attach an identity to it, Don't give it a name. Just watch it, and the light will define it. It will show you. It'll be fine.
I see.
All right. Amazing call, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to thank you again. You're doing a great work. Hopefully someday I'll come to California to attend your church.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Call me again.
Thank you. Bye.
Morality. Satan is giving you the wrong idea about morality. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. Just think of the people who judge themselves because they have based their life on what somebody else has defined it and what the intellect is defining. They're judging themselves. They have impressions, and it has nothing to do with God. Mark is a first-time caller out of Florida. Mark, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, I have a question. The George Washington Carver thing was quite interesting. That quote really made me think. And I've been watching you for a while. I agree pretty much on almost all issues in regards to the blacks and race relations in the United States, politically. But theologically, I definitely do have some disagreements. I wanted to ask, you talk a lot about letting go of hatred, which I think is good. I think black people, and white people for that matter, people in general have a lot of hatred that they need to get let go of, and myself included. But I wanted to ask this. I understand about why you encourage it. Our Lord says, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Do not hate them. But I wanted to quote two passages from the Bible, and I wanted to get your view on them. And the first one is Psalm 138:22, or 139 in the King James Version. I'm reading from the Douay-Rheims. It says, quote, I have hated them with a perfect hatred, and they are become enemies to me. And then Proverbs 8:13, the fear of the Lord hateth evil. I hate arrogance and pride and every wicked way, and a mouth with a double tongue. So in general, I definitely agree with getting rid of hatred, but could hatred ever be constructive? For example, hatred of sin, these type of things. What's your view on that?
You said, could it ever be what now?
Constructive, could ever serve a purpose.
No, hatred is always destructive. And there's nothing good about hating. And that's why even George Washington quote where he said, blah, 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 blah.
I have it here.
Have it. Yeah, fear of something. Yeah, thank you. Fear of something is at the root of hate for others. And hate within will eventually destroy the hater. That is so true. There's nothing in hatred but destruction. It's death, and it's fear, and it's everything. And when God talked about anger or hatred, he meant discernment. He can see what's going on, but he doesn't hate what he sees. And that is perfect rejection of evil. When you see it but don't hate it. And you can't see it with your physical eyes. It's interesting. You can't see it with your physical eyes unless you can see what's going on inside the person. And you will see what's driving them to carry out the physical hatred. It starts in the person first, in the mind and emotions, and then they act it out. And so the blind person judges the person based on the act, but they don't see what caused the act.
I think I get your point. So your contention is really just with the word, I would say, because hatred. You would say there's something deeper than hatred. It's discernment. It's not this thing that we always call hatred.
Right. Human beings are calling the things of evil the things of God because they have hatred in their hearts. They call themselves Christians, and some say not even non-Christians, but they think that they're being of God and they're not. So they'll call it evil good. They have the wrong ideas.
Right. Yeah, and that George Washington Carver thing, Tony, it's a shame that Tony brought that up, but it is true what you said about George Washington Carver. I didn't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But even if that did happen, even if that did, like you mentioned, I don't know if it did, but maybe it did, then it really shows that you can never blame your circumstances. Even it's quite inspiring, at least that portion of his life. And that's a message for, I think, everybody today.
Absolutely. And see, what happened was the devil had Tony to call in to throw a rock into it, to take something so powerful and so encouraging to try to make it look bad, and or make it seem like the white man is still the enemy, the white man the bad person. But it was a good point in that if that's true that George Washington was castrated, it didn't stop him in life. He didn't blame the white man. He went on and had an amazing life. Unlike the blacks, nothing is happening to them except in their minds, and they can't even function in life, period. Just imagine if they were castrated, would they be able to function at all? And so the devil used Tony to try to throw a rock into a good situation, but it turned out to be good, because it just proved that it's up to you to complain or go on with your life.
Right. Yeah, that's very true.
And the verse that you read came from David, not God, right?
Yeah,
okay.
King David. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Well, one of them. Yeah, one of them was from the Psalms, and that was the one. And I wanted to ask then for sin, because that was what I thought. We could use this term hatred for. But how would that work with sin exactly? Discernment.
What is sin?
Sin is an offense against God, I would say.
Where you get that from?
It's something that God hates.
Where did you get that it was an offense against God?
It's something that I've conjured up, I would say. Those specific words are not, in there, but it's something that I assume God does not like, because he commands against it all the time.
But God, you cannot offend God.
Right. Okay. Right. These are words that just we use because God is perfectly good. He's perfectly happy in himself.
So
yeah, that's a good point.
Nothing is an offense against God. Evil is not even a challenge for good. Did you know that good doesn't even think about evil at all? It's evil trying to conquer good, but good doesn't even think about evil, because in reality, it doesn't even exist. He's been defeated. And so the sin is of the heart. Salvation is of the heart. When you forgive, playing God, thinking that you know what you want, making decisions, having ideas, judging yourself and others, it's of the heart. And so when you forgive, God changes the heart from good from evil to good. And in good is nothing but life. And then the ego will die, the nature of God, which are the vices. But the human being got it so confused, they're calling the vices sin because the preacher said it and blah, 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 right? Because that's not even in the Bible. But they're calling that sin, and they try to change the vices rather than changing the heart. And because they don't know that the heart would change the vices, because the vices is an abnormal nature, the nature of the devil. It's not real. It's not who you are.
Would a better
Salvation
term
is of
be
the heart. We're born of the heart.
right? Would a better term be works of the flesh then? Like the works of the flesh are evident. That's how the Bible uses it. Certain things like
yes, that's where the devil dwells, in the flesh. But most people identify the flesh and the works of it as themselves, and it's not. And so they're fighting with the devil, two devils fighting, trying to make the flesh be better, and it's not going to ever happen. Only the light can take the devil from the flesh.
Interesting. Yeah, well, Jesse, thank you for the conversation. I have another question, but I'll perhaps save it for another day because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Amazing. Let me do this real fast. I want to really tell you about this. Let me see here. Talk about the intellect is of the devil. And it's all around us, but the people can't see because they too are of the intellect. Intellectuals are evil. Whether it's intellect of the Bible, because you have Bible intellectuals as well. They know the word, but they don't know God. And in knowing the word, they're destroying human nature and the world. They're fighting. They get angry if you don't agree with their religion or their interpretation. They're passing it on to the children, destroying the children. And then you have the secular intellectual. Nothing but destruction. The intellect is not your friend. And then they tell you, go to college and learn more. You need what they call it? You need a real job. I forgot what word they use. Profession. A job is your profession. Oh, you need a career. Thank you, Hake. You need a career. A job is your career. What the? You got a job, you got a career. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars to go to some dumb school for a career. But you believe the intellectuals. They're making money off you. They get their ego fulfillment from thinking that they are teachers and they're teaching you, and you make them feel good about teaching you. You sit there like a dummy. You are smarter than the teacher. What I want to do is do the super chats, and then I get to this story because I'm running out of time in this second hour, and I need to get to some more phone calls. Super chat.
Super chat.
Super
chats.
Super.
Yes, sir. Over here on D Live from Stan69 with a Ninja Guinea, Mexicans were the first cowboys out west. The Anglo whites adapted. It's not the West without Mexicans.
What? Repeat that.
Mexicans were the first cowboys out west. The Anglo whites adapted. It's not the West without Mexicans.
And that referring to the horse?
It might be in protest to
your complaints about Mexican cowboys.
Shout out to the Mexican cowboys. I like the Mexican cowboy. What I'm saying is that when I was growing up, I didn't wear Mexican clothes.
Right. It's not true to character.
Right. That's all I'm saying. And Daniel, the member of the fellowship who put all the Mexicans, he's a Mexican. And so I guess he grew up with Mexican wearing the Mexican things on the horse. I didn't do it. So we're going to use the Mexican clothing at times, but then we're going to keep it simple the way I just jumped on the horse and I didn't even know Mexican. Did you know I didn't even know Mexican whenever? I didn't know they existed.
It makes sense.
Isn't that weird?
I was surprised when I saw Mexicans down in South Carolina, Raleigh, when I first went down there.
Yeah.
And that was like 20 years ago or less. And they're all playing soccer and stuff. I'm like, in the South?
I know.
They're everywhere.
After I moved away from Alabama years later, I think 10 years later, I finally went back to visit down to Eufaula, Alabama. I saw some Mexicans. I was like, what the? Where y'all come from? What got your attention that made you move to Eufaula, Alabama? Now they're all over Alabama, but I don't know about all over. But I didn't know Mexican existed when I was growing up. But I love the Mexican too. But thank you. Appreciate it.
On buymeacoffee.com, Star Sion says, Jesse is married with 2 beautiful African nappy-headed kids. Whatever that means. By the way, Jesse, if I speak up on YouTube, I will be censored like 90 going nose. I won't even get a word out. I'm not angry, but I'm also just disappointed where the country is heading. Mommy Africa.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing.
She bought another coffee. I'll be Oh, this is an answer to the biblical question.
Okay.
I guess.
How often do you throw rocks at others?
Sion says, I'll be throwing rocks on the daily sometimes, Jesse. I can't help it. Especially on your live chat when someone calls seeking help, people on there will throw rocks and I throw them along with them. Laughing face emoji.
What? No.
I guess we got to break away from that. I'm going to nag until you get the guest I suggested on the following state. Why can't you do one thing, Sion? Ask. I'm throwing rocks at you for that. LOL. Lots of laughs.
Well, blame my producer, because he's the one that... I got to take a look at that again, too, though. We'll go over it. Thank you, Sion.
Dragging his feet.
And I'll respond to the biblical question on Sunday. Thank you for that.
Thomas bought a coffee. Jesse, not all, but most thoughts are evil. There are practical thoughts. Is it the same with emotions? Not all, but most are evil, but some emotions can be practical?
No. Do not shut. They're not yours. Thank you.
Tabor J. Eaton bought a coffee. President Trump going on a competitor's radio show? Amazing.
Nice. Thank you. Hold that there, and we'll finish up on the next hour. Thank you. Super Jetta. I'll be back in a moment. One more hour to go. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
Radioactive water around Fukushima. I guess they're finally going to clean it up, maybe? And the rhino debate. There's a little update. Larry Elder said that he was going on. Now they're saying no. So I think he's suing them. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Tuesday, Country and Western Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour 3, last hour with JLP. It's coming right up. Back to your calls. By the way, there is one line open. You can call in right now. 1-888-775-3773. 888-77-JESSE. But first, Hake News, not fake news. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the Hake Report. And after that, Joel Friday TV. And then after that, American Anchor, baby. Nice. Big money in Ukraine. Call Me Nonsense Network CNN reports Ukraine is in talks with some of the world's biggest insurance companies to cover ships traveling to and from its ports in the Black Sea, a crucial step toward a full resumption of vital grain exports, around the globe if you're a ball-tard. Work on an insurance mechanism follows Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea grain deal last month, which threatens the safe passage of ships carrying grain from Ukrainian ports. The collapse of the deal has already pushed up global food prices and could tip millions of poor countries into hunger. To keep grain shipments moving, Ukraine's government will share potential losses with insurers, which should make cover for travel through risky Ukrainian waters more affordable for commercial shipping companies. And CNN reports Japan will start releasing treated radioactive wastewater from its Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean as early as Thursday, despite fierce objections from some countries. The plan has been in the works for years, authorities warning in 2019 that space was running out to store the material that they said they had no other options but to release it. Japanese officials said the wastewater has been continually treated to filter out all the removable harmful elements, then stored in tanks. When the wastewater is released, officials said it will be heavily diluted with clean water, so it has very low concentrations of radioactive material. However, some scientists worry that the wastewater, even diluted, could harm marine life and pollutants could accumulate in the already frail ecosystem. What a mess, huh? All because of incompetence. I think they didn't clean up Fukushima so that it worked functionally and did not mess up, I heard. Anyway, the Rhino debate. CNN and RNC don't want Larry Elder on the debate stage, apparently. He's suing for an injunction, he said. CNN, Common Nonsense Network, CNN reports 8 Republicans have qualified for the first 2024 presidential primary debate, rescheduled for Wednesday night. Our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, the party's clear frontrunner in national and early state polls, has said he would skip the debate and called on his rivals to drop out. Meanwhile, sources say Trump has already taped an interview with Tucker Carlson, expected to be used as counter-programming on GOP debate night. Nice. An American sprinter, Sha'Carri Richardson, wins the world title. Congratulations. Black female. Time of 10.65 seconds. Richardson won the women's 100-meter final at the World Athletic Championships Monday. Her personal best in just 16/100ths behind the world record Flo Jo, the late Florence Griffith-Joyner, set in 1988. She might have had wind help, they say. I don't know. And a wolf in sheep's clothing swooping into Maui. Quote, "For as long as it takes, we're going to be with you." That's a so-called President Sleepy Joe Biden stated, reassuring Maui residents that the federal government, evil federal government, wolves in sheep's clothing, will support their long-term recovery efforts while respecting local traditions. Biden's remarks on Monday came after he visited the debris left by the fires and toured the historic town of Lahaina, to view the damage firsthand. The federal government, he pledged, would help local officials rebuild the way the people of Maui want to rebuild. The original voice of Mario is stepping away from the role, Charles Martinet. Since Mario 64, now he will be an ambassador rather than record new audio voices for the video game. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP.
Got to stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
You made it before? Oh, uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53-773. 888-77-JESSE. My biblical question: how often do you throw rocks at others? How often do you throw rocks at others? How often do you throw rocks at others? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about, busy, land up at the beach, in one of those airplanes where they near miss accident, or stuck in the airport on fentanyl trying to get high, or think about some committing suicide with fentanyl, or you're working out or you're making breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can listen to the show by calling your iPad or iPhone at 641. By using your iPhone or iPad, calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. That's 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. And cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy.tv/JLP. It's Tuesday. It's Country and Western Tuesday. Every Tuesday is Country and Western. Country and Western Tuesday. Who let the dogs out? So I was asking Hake about a news item that I thought I heard him mention, but I didn't hear it clearly. Did you say in your news moment that CNN or someone didn't want Larry Elder to be a part of the Republican debates?
That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, the RNC too.
The RNC doesn't want Larry in there?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're claiming that he was polling at 1% in a few polls, and which is the minimum requirement, and he raised his 40,000 supporters or whatever, raising money. But they rejected one of the polls, apparently, according to him, because one of the Rasmussen poll, I guess, is affiliated somehow with Trump. And they can't have it be affiliated with any of the candidates, any of their polls.
That's insane.
Yeah, so he's and he rattled off all the different ways that the other candidates used to bribe people to give $1 donations or whatever.
Right.
And he said apparently all of that is fine, but not what I've done, which is just ask the honest way for support. So CNN says, well, what did CNN say? They said that according to our stuff, he did not qualify by the polling, although he attempted to meet the $40,000 donor threshold, which he did. With a radio blitz Monday, according to CNN's count, he was short of the polling requirements. They call it also short of the polling requirements. And that's what the RNC said, too. The Rhino National Committee.
I'm not surprised at them, the Republican Rhino National Committee. Republican National Committee. I'm not surprised because they don't want a real American Republican in the mix.
Yeah.
They're not even for Donald Trump, to be honest, because they're no different than the Democratic Party, and they are scared of Larry. They know Larry's going to get up there and blow those little weak Democrats off the stage with his debates.
You're calling them Democrats even though they're supposedly Republicans?
Right.
Yeah.
They're Democrats. They're not real Republicans.
Yeah, I'm not even interested in watching the debate until I heard yesterday that he said that he had qualified and he was in the debate. But now they're saying that he's not.
I was going to watch it too if Larry was going to be in it.
Yeah, he'd be the only reason I would watch it.
Right. Other than the Great White Hope.
Yeah.
But if you notice, they don't care about Grin and Tim Scott being there.
Yeah.
Because he's weak. He's a mama boy.
He doesn't talk about anything real.
He's just a little wannabe politician, and he's not he's not going to do anything. So no problem with him.
Yeah.
But a real Republican come, whether black or white, they had an issue.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope he beat that.
And he's openly supporting Trump. He says that he's running because he wants to bring the topic to the table that nobody's talking about. Some of the topics, such as like fatherlessness.
Yes.
And he's right. Nobody else is bringing that up.
Right.
It's like a forgotten issue.
Because they rhino. They're Democrats in rhino suits.
Yeah.
And they're weak. I saw them at the sound bites from the little thing they just had an hour.
Yeah.
All of them just pathetic. It's like a game show.
There's another light-skinned black rhino who's running, Will Hurd. Will Hurd. He's a former congressman from Texas.
Oh, yeah, I heard of
He
that.
dropped out. I don't know if he even qualified for the debate, but crazy.
But I hope Larry beat that. Because
Yeah.
that would be exciting to have Larry up there.
He said
Larry
that
Elder.
he said that he's suing for an injunction
Good.
to stop the debate on Wednesday.
Oh, to stop it?
Yeah,
Oh.
unless they accept him. Because he said that the Republicans are supposed to be about free speech and real discussion and ideas.
Yeah.
But no, they're not. They're Democrats.
We have a one-party system now.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Weak.
One-party system. We don't have a Republican Party anymore. Amazing. Well, I hope he can do something about that.
Nice.
He's an amazing. He's what America needs too.
Yep. Cool.
Any other weak black, they won't have a problem with it.
Of course.
What a mess. Thank you, Hake.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Amazing. I want to, before I go back to the callers and finish up in super chats and all that, I want to show you what the intellectuals are doing. Intellectuals are of their father, the devil, by the way. They think they're smart, but they know nothing. And the more intellectual they are, the worse they are. I want to show you, speaking of abortions, I want to show you what the politicians are encouraging. Watch this compilation.
Be aware of this. The Republicans are plotting a nationwide abortion ban. This is deadly serious. But we are not going to let this pass.
The freedom of every woman to make decisions about her own body.
I support codifying Roe v. Wade. I would codify Roe v. Wade.
To see young girls now have fewer rights than their moms or even their grandmothers is something very sad for our country.
I would also make sure that I appoint as president people who respect the precedent of Roe versus Wade.
How dare they attack basic health care?
And I will create the Office of Reproductive Freedom and Reproductive Rights in the White House and make sure that we begin to fight back on a systematic attempt that's gone on for decades to undermine Roe v. Wade.
Women have been given the responsibility to perpetuate the human species. Our bodies were created to do that. And it does not give any other person the right to tell a woman what to do with that body. It is her body, it is her right, it is her decision.
Nancy Pelosi said it is deadly serious for the unborn child. These people, intellectuals, are talking about killing children. They're talking about killing children in the womb, killing a man's child in the womb. They're looking for every firstborn before it's born to destroy it. Intellectuals. Intellectuals. And you pay all your money to go to these dumb schools to become an intellectual. And all you end up with being dumber and in debt. That's it. And you're taught to go to college. It's the intellectual, if it's true, if that story is true about Larry, that's the Republican intellectuals that don't want Larry there because they know Larry is the real deal. Larry Elder, that is. They don't want the great white hope, Donald Trump, and they don't want Larry. They're intellectuals. And the intellectuals don't want the real deal there. We have all the wrong people in the right places to prevent the country from coming back. Your enemy is within. He's within our country by way of being in other people, and he's inside of you. You can overcome him. Another Biden flip-flop, speaking of intellectuals. This is from the National Review. It's fascinating to see how politicians change their tunes on issues. In 1973, Biden sounded much like a Republican. In the years that followed, Biden dropped his his opposition to abortion. Watch this compilation.
Back in 1974, he said, "I don't like the Supreme Court decision on abortion. I think it went too far. I don't think that a woman has the sole right to say what should happen to her body."
Why do you think Roe v. Wade was a good decision?
Because I think it's as close to a consensus that can exist in a society as heterogeneous as ours. Life begins at conception. That's the church's judgment. I accept it in my personal life. I do not believe that that we have a right to tell other people that women they can't control their body. It's the best way to say it. If I get elected President of the United States and the Supreme Court overrules Roe v. Wade, I'm going to send legislation to the United States Congress to pass it and codify it. We codify Roe v. Wade. If you don't think women's rights are under assault, you're not looking. It concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose. Reproductive rights are a constitutional right. Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade.
Amazing. Now do you believe intellectuals are evil? Anyone that wanted to kill the man's child in the womb is evil. No other word for it. And when a woman can tell me how she created the body, because according to the word, our bodies are not our own. So any woman that can tell me how she created the body, then I would believe it's her own. She's claiming something that doesn't belong to her. And when she can tell me how she created the body that she lives in, I would agree with her she can kill the man's child in the womb. See how intellectual evil, the mind is a terrible thing to save. I was talking to someone yesterday. They're trying hard, desperately, to pay down debts that they made while in college. It's stressful. And they're not even doing what they went to college to, they thought they were going to do for their career. Now they have a real job. Killing the unborn child in the womb is evil. It's evil. And the only time I might agree with it is when we know that the woman would die from having the baby, then the woman has the right to live, I guess, over the baby. But other than that, and that's hard to prove nowadays because now they'll use that as an excuse. I'm glad that Mary, and the white people call her Mary, didn't kill Jesus while in the womb. What the? What will we all be today? Killing the unborn child in the womb. That's amazing to me. But I understand evil now. I know how it works. It's not them. They're being influenced to do it, to kill the child. Something that is so insane it doesn't make any sense at all, 0 sense, but to the killers of unborn children, it makes sense because they're blind and can't see. The Blaze is reporting that, and speaking of killing the unborn child in the womb, the Blaze is reporting that a 25-year-old Los Angeles woman filmed the off-scene execution of her unborn baby and posted the video to TikTok, telling Newsweek her hope would be that abortion become more normalized and seen as what it is, health care. Watch this from TikTok.
Take a trip with me on my first abortion at home. I have my ibuprofen, motion sickness relief, lots and lots of water, and MaxiPads Lifesaver. So first of all, I start off with this list and schedule of what I'm going to be doing. The first thing is already checked off because that pill was taken at the clinic, so all good. Before I start, I eat, I take my motion sickness, at least one because I didn't really like it, my ibuprofen, and I check off the things that I take. Here I am taking my second dose of anti-nausea pills. I hate being nauseous. It's the worst thing ever. 10 minutes have passed. I'm in a little bit of pain. Here is 20 minutes, and I am really starting to feel it. 30 minutes passed, and I'm in so much pain, I am just laying down. After that passed, I ordered some Wendy's. The pain was unbearable last night, but I made it, and I am okay.
And she put it on TikTok. The works of the devil, the works of the flesh. That's where the devil dwells. That female cannot see. She worships the devil and she loves it. Isn't that amazing? And she put it on TikTok. They can't see. They just can't see. They're intellectuals. And according to the Blaze, her stated reason for getting an abortion was that she was presently shacked up with her boyfriend. Bringing another child into the home is not ideal whatsoever. Bringing another child into the home is not ideal whatsoever. Watch this from Monica the Human. Watch this.
Now, the process of getting an abortion was fairly easy, at least for me. I do live in a legal state. I live in California, where we are able to get abortions up to 24 weeks. They were so sweet to me, so nice. They guided me through the entire thing, and I loved how thoroughly they explained everything step by step for me, and it made me a lot more comfortable in the decision I was making, and I knew that I was in good hands. Right now it's just not the right time. It's just not the right time to be having more kids. Financially, I'm not doing very great, at least not on my own. I do get support from my boyfriend. He is the only one that's working right now. Also, as I've mentioned before, I have a child. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and that's already very hard in itself. You know, I just don't think that it would be fair for her, or even for me, to bring another child into our lives. I feel fine. I feel relieved. I feel good. And I feel like I made the best decision for myself right now.
Amazing. A lost soul, evil, cannot see. Did you ever imagine that one day in the United States of America, that abortion could even be pushed, period, as a norm? What has happened to my country? Killing a child in the womb, and they call it love. men, that woman need you to bring her out of her hell. She can't see. Do you see now why women need you to wake up and return to your natural order? Return to the Father. You must be born of the Spirit. Deontay is out of Orlando, Florida. Deontay, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling. Thanks for holding.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Jeffrey?
All is well, Deontay.
I'm calling to answer the biblical question.
All right. How often do you throw rocks at others?
I never throw rocks. I never have thrown a rock at others.
And why you never done it? Or how did you avoid ever doing it?
Because I didn't avoid anything. You know, after really sitting down to know myself, I started to understand that there's a me and a not me. And I can see now that I'm taking seriously overcoming and trying to, trying to get away from the ego self, letting the ego die, that the rocks that I could be throwing to try to bring people down or whatever is really just me trying to make my own ego feel better. So what I'm saying, when I say I don't do it, I've never done it, it's because it's always been the influence of my ego, or it's not my ego, but of Satan within the body.
Amazing. I appreciate that, man. I want to respond, but I got to wait until Sunday. But very, very interesting.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Yes.
Por favor? So I've told you before, I've called multiple times about different issues, right, that was happening in my life.
Okay.
And I pretty much didn't follow any of your advice for the first 2 years. But I knew it to be true. Something in me, I couldn't do it. I wasn't ready.
Right. Yeah.
And then recently, probably in the last few weeks, maybe a month by now, something came over me. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And it was when I really was all thoughts are all lines. And I was ready to overcome. I had forgiven my parents years ago, but kind of how you said earlier, where people forgive and then that's it. They continue to live in their own ego.
Yeah.
And that was me. And so everything you had told me, the advice you had told me, I had tried to do it, but I couldn't do it. The devil was controlling me. But I wanted to go ahead and say that when I finally really gave it all to God, that day that the rebirth happened, when I really said, God, all these thoughts are not mine. They're all these opinions, I don't need any of them. I gave them up to him. Then everything you had told me to do happened naturally. It happened just I have a baby mother who's a lesbian that lives overseas. You told me to cut her off. When I started speaking up, really speaking up, she cut me off. She blocked me. I can't see my daughter. And that's fine. But it didn't. Yeah. I knew that when I spoke up, it was going to be possible what happens.
Yeah.
But I was not willing to give up my soul just for her. I didn't want to just be a face to smile at my daughter. I wanted to actually be a father. And when that day happened, she cut me off. And that was fine. Same thing with my wife. You told me that me and my wife, we should, I don't want to put all our business out there, but right. You gave us some advice personally, and it happened. And now when I see my wife and I correct her and things like that, she tells me things like, when you correct me, it feels like it's burning on the inside. And I was like, that's the ego dying.
Yeah.
And that's what we're supposed to go through. And now when I see her look at me, we haven't been, I haven't been using her for the worldly pleasures, right? I've seen it in myself that I was using her I wasn't loving her. I was using her for the drug in between her legs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now when I see her look at me, she doesn't even look at me the same. She looks at me with a genuine smile. And I say that to say this: when I walk around now, it's like, I hear people say empathy and all these words that are supposed to mean this, like empathize with other people. But now I see it in a different way where when I walk around, I see people and I can see that they're miserable. I can see that they have pain. I can see that they're, when the women are wearing these tight, revealing clothes, it's not because they're quote unquote confident. It's that they're trying to get attention. They're trying to really look for love.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the guys when they're trying to search for these girls. They just want the twat, and it's just we live in a hell.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you because my eyes have been open, and it's just been amazing, and it's been amazing for my family, and I just wanted to thank you very much.
Amazing. That's amazing, man. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. You haven't seen anything yet. It gets better. And the love that God is and that he has for us is mind-blowing. There are no words to put to it. But so stay with it, man. Amazing testimony. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Have a great day, sir.
You too, buddy. And I'll respond to the biblical question on Sunday, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Deontay. That was amazing. I'm telling you, folks, it's for all who welcome the truth. And I know most won't. A handful will. Most won't. Some are here, go and forgive your mama. They run and say, oh, mama, I forgive you. And then they'll brag about how they forgave, and that's it. As soon as some mess with their ego, they're scared, they're on the run. They think that they're their ego. Amazing call, Deontay. Thank you, man. Let me go to Matt DL. Mag DL. Oh, Matt DL, hold on. Let me take a quick break. I hear the music. 888-7753-773. That was an amazing testimony. Thank you, Deontay. Back in a moment. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Lord, I was born a gambling man. Born here doing the best I can. I know I believe it. Lord, I was born a gambling man. Amazing. So before I go back to the call, let me make these quick announcements. Busy Tuesday. at the top of this hour at 9 a.m. Pacific time, the Hake report. The Hake report.com from 9 to 11 a.m. and James Hake is on fire. And then at 11 a.m., Joel Friday TV, E-Black. Joel Friday TV from 11 to 12 Pacific time. Amazing. And at 12 noon Pacific time, the American Anchor Baby. Right after Joel Friday TV, the American Anchor Baby. He ain't no Anchor Baby for nothing. And for those who might be just tuning in, you just woke up or you're just tuning in, tomorrow, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, Hassan's new show tomorrow. And it is called Wow, Walking on Water. Wow is walking on water. What the? Hassan and his dog. Who let the dogs out? Wednesdays now at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Telephone, telegraph, tell a woman, get the word out. Hassan is here. One of my experts on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, an audio engineer, songwriter, rapper, talented. He did all this. What the? So tomorrow, all right? And don't forget that for personalized shout-outs, go to Cameo, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. I will do them for you. Cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Whatever the shout-out is, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, congratulations. And for counseling, we have the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I do them by phone, Skype, or walk-in. Go to rebuildingthemand.com, rebuildingthemand.com, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663 to make an appointment. All right? I do appreciate it. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk and or cash.app/BondJLP. Cash.app/BondJLP. All right. Let me go to Matt DL out of Florida. Matt DL, thank you for holding. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jesse, for taking my call, and I just want to say good morning.
Good morning.
First, I just want to say that I should have taken your advice months and months and months ago when I first called in. I know you do the show, and you get many phone calls, but I remember the advice I was giving you about my girlfriend and some things going on between us, and we have a kid. And I had told you that I moved into her apartment, and you told me that I need to move out and get my own place. And if things work out, things work out. And if they don't, then they don't. And I was so stubborn and hard-headed, and the ego was still filled within me, that I didn't take the advice. I didn't heed your advice, and I kept it going. I kept it pushing. I kept trying for the family. And months later, I have my apartment now. I went through a custody battle, which I ended up getting 50-50, thanks to our governor president, Ron DeSantis. And it took a while for me to understand when you were saying, you have to forgive your father, because when I had a conversation with my dad, and I understood the other side of the coin, of why he was absent apart from him fighting his demons and fighting his drug addictions, I didn't really understand. So I guess I forgave my father, but not really. But now that everything has come to a close, I have my son. I have my own apartment. I've allowed God to heal me from the inside, to heal my heart. And again, Jesse, I should have listened to the advice that you gave me the first time that I had called you, man. It's been a long battle, and I'm just glad that I get to have my son, and I can show my son a good example of a good father, a present father, an active father in his life, and without dealing with his mother and all of the craziness that was going on in that relationship.
Nice. Well, amazing, man. Well, I'm glad you finally got it and things are working out. And from this day forward, if you're not already doing it, never, ever, 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 but never, never argue with her, the baby's mother. Because the devil in her is going to try to make you do something so that she can take you back to court and try to take your child away. Don't argue with her. You state your point and don't argue. Just leave it alone. Let her argue by herself. And if she get violent or whatever, you call the cops and have her arrested.
Oh, Jesse, we've literally just signed the paperwork for everything to be 50-50 and for me to get the time that I'm supposed to have with my son.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, ever since I left back in April, it's been her dictating and controlling the time.
Yeah.
I went from 4 days to having 3 days with my son to 3 days to having 2 days, from 2 days to just one night, and I couldn't deal with it no more, and I took her to court. And we signed the paperwork yesterday, where it's actually supposed to go in effect this Sunday, okay? And I guess she didn't understand fully what she was signing, being that it's 50-50, and I'm getting 4 threes, so 4 days on, 3 days off, and then interchanging every other week. And she's called me boo-hooing last night, okay? Boo-hooing and fighting with me and saying that she's not getting enough time with our son, and it just is. I'm kind of amused at it, because me, somebody that has had time taken away from me, you know, from being with my son, she feels like she's not hasn't had enough time. It's very strange, and it is very baffling to me, you know.
Well,
and the last caller, that I believe his name was Deontay, was kind of confirmation to me that what I'm doing is the right thing. You know, being an active father and allowing God to drive me and be inside of my heart to guide me as well, you know?
Absolutely. You should only love God with all your heart, soul, and might, and your neighbor as yourself, and life will work for you. It will really work for you. And I don't care what con game she play, whether she try to be nice or be mean or argue or cry or laugh, don't fall for it. You stay patient, you stay calm, so you can see the devil working through her, and you'll be fine, because it ain't over yet, believe me. And but you stay calm so you can see what to do. Don't argue with her. Don't try to please her. Don't go along with her crap. You stay calm and do what's in front of you. And you haven't seen anything, man. It gets better.
Jesse, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm an avid listener. Okay, I listen to you as much as I can, especially. And Jesse, I just wanted to say I should have listened to the advice that you gave me a long time ago. I should have moved out when things got to where they're at now.
Yeah.
I should have just, you know, truly forgave my father and understood the other side of the coin.
Yes.
And when I say understand the other side of the coin, I understand that my mother was bitter and vindictive and spiteful. And when I talked to my dad and I said, hey, look, why did you do the things that you did? Why did you up and just abandon us? You know, just forget about us. And word for word, my father said this: your mother made things so difficult me to court by the whole child support process, by turning you guys against me, that I just said, screw it.
Yep.
I said, screw it. If the kids want to look for me when they're older, if you and your brother want to look for me when you guys are older, then you guys will look for me. But you know what? I can't do nothing else for you guys.
Yeah.
And now I've understood. I mean, it's not justified, because I feel like my father still should have been there and made moves to be active in our life. But the other side of the coin, I understand why he did it. You know, when you're dealing with somebody like that, it's tough to be active and present in your child's life.
Yep. The wickedness of the woman's heart is beyond understanding. Satan is her God, and she believed that it's her, it's the nature. She doesn't even realize, most women don't, some do, that it's the nature of the devil operating through them. But the wickedness of a woman's heart is beyond words, to the point that she'll destroy your child, try to destroy you. And there's nothing, even the courts can't stop it. And that's why I'm telling you to stay calm. Don't fall for the trick that she's going to play, the crying, the tears, and all. It's just all trying to get back and get control to destroy. Don't be angry at her. She can't help it. But don't fall for the lie, all right?
Yes, sir.
And stay with the silent prayer and watch and just live your life. It's going to be amazing. I wish you well, man. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, thank you for everything. Thank you for your wise words. Thank you, Jesse, for just, being Jesse.
Right
okay?
on. You're welcome,
Because
man.
we need more guys like you speaking the truth out here.
Well, guys like you and other callers, you are waking up. So it's happening one man at a time. It's truly happening. I get calls from around the world from men and women now who are waking up. So stay with it. You're doing fine.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks for the call. Amazing. Did I say we opened a treasure chest? I forgot. Sorry, Hake. Oh, amazing. Let me go to Chuck out of New Jersey. Man, so many people waiting a while. Let's see here. Chuck, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
All is well, Chuck.
Hey, I called. A guy called ahead of me that said something about George Washington Carver having been castrated.
Right. That was Tony from California.
Yeah. Today we would call that a vasectomy, but I doubt that happened. More than likely, from what I researched, and I'm taxing my memory, he might have suffered from diphtheria. And if you know, there's a history about diphtheria that it can kill people, that it can cause, lasting effects, not only to your voice, but to various organs in the body. So that's one of the things that I read about that he may have suffered from. And why people want to put it out there that family that he lived with, the white family he lived with, castrated him to keep him off their daughters. I mean, just think about it for a second. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody. And to do that just to keep them off your daughters, I doubt that actually happened.
Me too.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it happened.
Diphtheria.
I really don't think it happened.
Diphtheria is a type of infection in the nose and throat. But Chuck, when I was in high school, we were taught about George Washington Carver and other Booker T. Washington and other. I never heard about the teacher, or I've never read about that at all. It was so insignificant that, because everybody going through something, some type of something they have to deal with. It was the fact that the man was born enslaved. He didn't let that stop him in life. He didn't complain about the white man. He didn't beg. He didn't want anything free. He became a scientist and an inventor. And it's good news for the rest of the blacks because nowadays you can really do what you want if you get out and just do it. Don't be a part of the crowd, the victimhood mentality. And the devil was using Tony to try to disencourage the blacks to get up and make something or do something for themselves. That's why he had Tony call and say that.
Well, one other thing about George Washington Carver, and I don't know if many people know this, but there is a documentary out there about him. He was a good friend of the founder of the Ford Motor Company, and he also was I can't think, Henry Ford. He helped Henry Ford to develop the assembly line. Now, I don't know that he was the actual inventor of it, but he would Henry Ford would seek his advice on various things, knowing that George was Carver was a scientist and inventor and so forth.
Yeah.
But there was one other thing. I know you got to go. You say that men shouldn't complain. Didn't you say that?
Right.
All right. You know that this is built into our Constitution. The First Amendment to the Constitution is actually a vehicle inside the Constitution that gives us the freedom to a vehicle through which we can complain. You know, it's part of the 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights, and it's freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, freedom of the right to petition government for redress of grievances, and that's a vehicle through which you, me, everybody on this in this country can complain about something that we feel that we've been wronged about, and many of us have used it. I know I've used it. I'm sure that you may have used it in the past, not realizing that that's in the Constitution.
Well, I'm talking about don't complain like a victim. Don't be a victim. There are things that we're going to disagree with. There are going to be things that we have to, to use the Constitution, but not as a victim. Booker T. Washington and those guys, and when I was growing up, they didn't see themselves as victims. And it was like when Tony threw in the thing about, for those who don't know, we did a Men's History Month talking about enslaved George Washington Carver, and he became a scientist and inventor. And Tony called in to try to make it seem like the white man still tried to hold him down, right? But what he said about George Washington Carver being castrated or whatever he said, it only proved that the man was even greater, because if that happened, he didn't complain about it. He went on with his life and became a scientist. And you're right, Chuck. You have to go and do what you got to do, but not as a victim. You should be able to move through life without feeling like a victim. But that doesn't mean that there are no time. Excuse me, no times when you're not going to disagree and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's 601, half a dozen on the other.
Yeah.
The Bill of Rights, like I said, gives you that opportunity to do that. And in fact, this country was founded on the fact that people were being victimized and persecuted in Europe, of all places. They were told that they had to adhere to a certain religious practice. If they didn't, they could be prosecuted.
Let me do this, Chuck, because of time. I hate cutting you off, man. I really want to hear, but I'm running out of time, and I want to do some super chats and a few more calls. But call me again, and thank you for the Man of History moment, all right?
All right.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Super chat.
Super chat.
Super chats.
Yes, sir. Over on Buy Me a Coffee.
BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP.
You told Harpo to beat me.
You told Harpo to beat me.
Oh my goodness, Jesse. Just finished your Sunday service from this past weekend. You were spitting fire, my friend. God bless. Love you and the JLP crew. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If you missed last Sunday, you were not there, or you didn't get a chance to catch it live, podcast it at rebuildingtheman.com rebuildingtheman.com/church. rebuildingtheman.com/church. It was amazing. Thank you.
Joe, J-O, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Maybe Nick knows. J-A-J-O-A with the N-Y thing? Oh, John in English. I'm Brazilian. Bought a coffee.
Buy me a coffee.
Hi, Jesse. I stopped catering to my Brazilian girlfriend. He's Brazilian, too. Her emotions. And she was like, you are not paying attention to me. You left me alone crying. You don't love me. I was like, what the? Emotions are all ego all the time.
That's right.
People say God has emotions, but are you God? The answer is no. If one has emotions, he thinks he is God. Because of sin and living in the flesh, the devil makes you think you are God. Yeah. Everything is about you. That is why you have emotions, and that is why you suffer, he says.
When she was crying and carried on, she was saying, you're not letting me control you. I used to control you with emotions. That's what she's saying. I'm losing control over you. Don't give into it. Don't give into it. Keep it up. Stay with it. And thank you.
Also on Buy Me a Coffee, Bradley bought one saying, Jesse, are thoughts like forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden? And what caused the fall was the beginning of our thinking and no longer leaning on God's wisdom? God bless. I love the work God is doing within you, he says.
Absolutely. The thoughts are the forbidden fruits. Good way to put it, too. Let them pass. Do not eat the apple. Do not eat the apple. Satan convinced Eve that she could be like Adam. She could be a god. And look what happened. Thank you. Amazing.
On D-Live, Cactus Eater Bear gave a diamond saying, I'm throwing rocks at that abortion video. Nice. Understandable. That one's okay.
Thank you. Amazing.
Adrian Seha bought a coffee. Oh, no, I already read. Hassan already read that one. Thank you, guys. That's all for now.
Amazing. Amazing. What the? I am so out of time. It's not even funny. I'm out of time. Tomorrow is Manhood Hour, the third hour. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, become your own man, become your own woman. Ladies, it can happen for you. Go and forgive. I meet ladies all the time. You hear them at church. They're overcoming. Now they understand what's driving them. It's not them. Go and forgive your mama. Forgive your daddy for not protecting you from mama. He couldn't help it. Mama couldn't help it. And do the silent prayer and watch. That's it. And just live your life moment to moment. All right? Do the silent prayer. Silentprayer.video. www.silentprayer.video. Sam out of Miami. Matthew out of Pennsylvania. Travis out of Illinois. Brian out of North Carolina. And somebody calling in. I'm out of time. I'll be back tomorrow. It's been amazing. Stay with it, folks. Become your own man, no matter whomever. Wish them well. Don't get angry at them. You stay on the path. All right? Take care. Thanks for the super chats and the support. And don't forget Hassan tomorrow at 11 a.m. Right here. Hassan.
Amazing.
Take care, y'all. I know we can find a way.
You must know that's so you get something went wrong, but
Check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. Stand up, we got fighting to do. We gotta show him who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you. Igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understanding to lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop all the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
know that's so you get something went wrong, but face the truth, the empty
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father.